it's going to be pulling you through.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome, and it's a pleasure to call to order this meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie on July 22nd, 2026. We will begin with a salute to the flag. We are at war, and at our town board meetings recently, we've had a moment of silence. We know that we have casualties. We know we have families that are grieving, young men and women who serve with honor, and I'd like us to take a moment just to think about them and their families before we then proceed. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, let's begin with the roll call.
Greg Freeman, Ward 1.
Good evening, Barbara Laird, Ward 2.
Good evening, Shanta Tangaya, Ward 3.
Emily Watson, Ward 4.
Good evening, Ryan Sharp, Ward 5.
Ann Shersham, Ward 6.
Felicia Salvatore, Town Clerk.
Emily Svensson, Attorney to the Town.
Rebecca Edwards, Town Supervisor. Before we start, I just wanted to make one announcement, which is that Bill Bergen, passed away this week. He worked in the sewer department for the town from 1985 to 2019, 34 years. And so I just wanted to take a moment to remember him and think about his family as they mourn his passing. We have a wonderful first start to the night, which is to appoint two new police officers to our town police force. And Greg, you want to start off?
Okay, I'll kick it off. Resolution 1 is to appoint Kenneth N. Hinch as police officer. So moved.
Second.
All right, any discussion? Welcome to Officer Hinch. I think he and Officer Umhofer are going to be off to Police Academy in just 2 weeks, right? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Resolution passes 7-0.
I, Kenneth N. Hinch,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution.
that I will support the Constitution. All right, thanks, guys.
There you go.
I will support the Constitution
That I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the state of New York,
and the state of New York,
and I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of
the duties of
police officer
police officer
for the town of Poughkeepsie.
for the town of Poughkeepsie.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Come on, guys.
Congratulations. And we have future officers here too, which is wonderful.
Resolution number 2, to appoint Abigail Umhofer as police officer. So moved.
Second.
All right. Any discussion?
Yeah, I'd just like to say I'm delighted to see Abigail. She actually grew up not very far away from here, up on the top of Spy Hill. And about 10, 12 years ago, when I went through knocking doors with Steve Englehart, I know I met you. So we were both younger then.
Now that we've embarrassed the police officer, right? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The resolution carries 7-0. Congratulations.
Abigail Umhofer,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United
and
States
the state of New York,
and the state of New York,
and I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of
the duties of
police officer
police officer
for the town of Poughkeepsie.
for the town of Poughkeepsie.
Congratulations to you, congratulations to the department. We wish you all the best in the police academy and we look forward very much to working with you. Thanks again so much. And thank you to all the family who've supported these fine young officers and to the department for being here and everyone who's offered support. All right, now we get to go on to the more mundane things a little bit, all right? Well, not really. We have not quite, we have one more first.
Okay.
Yeah, Resolution 3, accept Dorothy Hill's retirement as a police dispatcher. So moved.
Second. Okay, Dorothy Hill has been a dispatcher in the police department for a long time. I don't think she's here tonight, but wish her the very, very best and thank her for her years of dedicated service and wish her wonderful adventures in retirement. All right, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The resolution carries 7-0. Okay, now we have some public hearings. So I think we begin, maintenance. Yes, I'm sorry. Well, we have 4 public hearings. The way we did it was to start. Yeah, that's okay. We delayed the public hearings because of the police officers coming in, but I promise we'll get to it shortly. Okay, Board Member Watson, do you want to do the first public hearing? Open it up?
Yes, resolution number 4 is a public hearing for the property maintenance violation at 688 Vassar Road in the town of Poughkeepsie. So moved.
Second.
Okay, so the public hearing is open. Public hearing is open for anyone who would like to comment on the proposed remedy for property maintenance violation at 688 Vassar Road. Is there anyone in the room who wanted to speak? Anyone online who wanted to speak? All right, seeing none, then I move that we close the public hearing.
Second.
Any discussion? Oh, no, sorry, we have to. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, the public hearing is closed, 7-0. I'm getting a feedback from my mic. There's a lot of feedback tonight. I'm not sure why.
I think
It-
is somebody on the meeting in the audience?
It may also be the mic here. Is that mic on?
I turned it off,
Okay,
because it was happening before I
All
turned
right.
it on.
Yeah, it was.
I've turned the presenter one off, but I don't have, I'm not quite sure what else is going on.
Volume down, that usually works.
Okay, if there's anyone in the room who's watching the meeting and has their volume up on their computer, please turn it down. And maybe Roger in the back is hearing and can help us.
I think
Okay.
it's a little better.
It is better now.
Maybe
better
okay,
now.
hopefully. Okay, all right.
Okay.
Then now the board has before us, Emily, do you want to move the action?
So the action would then be to serve a violation?
Right. It's that, that if there's not a remedy, then the town shall by its highway department or contractor cause the removal of all the waste, fallen tree limbs, continue to cut the grass and continue maintenance. So the town is authorized to undertake the maintenance and then add that to the property tax bill in case the owner doesn't do it.
Yeah, I see our zoning administrator is on Zoom. I'm wondering if she could comment, have any of these been resolved? Has somebody actually gone and mowed their lawn today?
So hang on one second. I'm going to move that we put this resolution on the table.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Emily's so moved in second. Anybody?
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, there we go. All right, then you had a question, Ann?
Yeah, I was wondering if Chrissy, if they ran out and checked on these, if anybody had.
Hi, Chrissy?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Welcome.
Yeah, this week I hadn't checked, my deputy's out on vacation, but as of last week, nothing was done.
Okay.
So what this would do would, allow us to have a contractor mow it if you know, it hasn't been done. And then if it doesn't happen again, then we have to renotice, but since a resolution was passed, they'd be able to do it after that 10-day notice again.
Okay, so we'll check obviously again before any action is taken, right?
Right.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Yep, okay, but we can do that. Oh, something changed. We just lost the feedback. Erica did something, or Roger, or somebody, but we're all set. Okay, all right, so then, this authorizes to move forward if it's still unaddressed, okay? Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The resolution carries 7-0. All right. Board
So,
Member Sharp.
Number 5 is to keep or open the public hearing on maintenance violation at 34 Husky Hill Road in the town of Poughkeepsie. So moved.
Second. All right, the public hearing is then open. Oh, the feedback is back. Anyway, if anyone who is here in the room or on Zoom wanted to comment on the proposed treatment of the maintenance violations at 34 Husky Hill Road. Anyone here who wanted to speak on that? Seeing none, I move that we close the public hearing.
Second?
All those in favor? Aye. Right, a motion is passed 7-0. All right, and then we can put the resolution on.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we perform the maintenance necessary at 34 Husky Hill to keep the grass cut not to exceed 12 inches and clean up yard waste, fallen tree limbs, and other yard debris. So moved.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The resolution carries 7-0. All right, I think that carries us back around to you, Greg.
Okay. Resolution 6, public hearing for property maintenance violation at 42 Winnie Lane in the town of Poughkeepsie. So moved.
Second.
Okay. All right, so the public hearing is then open. Moving to open the public hearing, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The resolution carries, the motion carries 7-0. The public hearing is open. Is there anyone in the room or online who'd like to come and speak on the proposed remedy for the property maintenance violation at 42 Winnie Lane? Anybody who wants to speak? Okay, seeing none, I move that the public hearing be closed.
Second?
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, the motion carries 7-0, and so we can put this on the table. And we can consider the motion.
Go ahead.
So, we would like to make sure, just like the other cases, that property maintenance has been maintained at 42 Winnie Lane. If it is not, and they have not complied with the order to remedy, the town will come in and take care of that and put it on their tax roll, the property tax bill. So moved.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All right, so the property owner can at any time take care of this, but if they don't, then the town will take care of it, so it keeps the neighborhood looking neat and tidy, and then add it to the tax bill. All right? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The resolution carries 7-0. Okay.
Resolution 7, public hearing for property maintenance violation at 2 Hawk Lane in the town of Poughkeepsie. Opening for public hearing.
So moved?
So moved.
Second? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, the motion carries 7-0. The public hearing is now open for anybody who might want to speak just about how to remedy the property maintenance violations at 2 Hawk Lane. Anyone who wants to speak? Okay, seeing none, I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Resolution carries 7-0. All right, so then we can put the, Emily, do you want to put
Sure.
the
So,
resolution in front of us?
Yes, so the resolution is to, and this one, it's a little more complicated because the building itself needs to be taken down, correct? So we are moving to clean up the garden waste, overgrown shrubs, fallen trees, and to cut the grass not to exceed 6 inches. But there's also a premise that needs to be removed. Is the town gonna remove?
I don't see that.
I don't see that.
Okay, I received okay. So
Sure.
moved.
Second. All right. So this is now on the table for discussion.
Okay, I received a letter an anonymous letter from a constituent, saying that this house had caught on fire in April of 2025, and that they're concerned about the structure remaining in place due to its current condition. And so they respectfully ask that the town review the current status of the property and determine whether any additional action may need to be addressed in concerns of the structure itself.
Okay. I would say then that what we want to do is go ahead and pass this, get the property taken care of. But since Chrissy Granieri from our zoning department is here, and we can also pass this on to the building and planning folks, just to take a look and see what the shape of the property is and see if there are more things that can be done. They may have more information about the circumstances. But
Sometimes insurance companies are involved with a fire and it takes a really long time.
To get the
I know a
authorization.
situation in Hopewell that was the case, so it's a little difficult.
Chrissy, not to put you on the spot, but are you aware of anything about the house itself?
I know, Bruce is working on it. This one was, extra difficult. But now that it's bank owned, I believe it's being worked on now. But yeah, I wouldn't quote me. I could definitely, check for you tomorrow.
That'd be great, as long as we know that Bruce Flower, head of the building department, is aware of it, and it sounds like it's changed hands.
Oh, yes, we're definitely aware.
Yep.
Yep, we are definitely aware.
It sounds like it's changed hands into a bank, and so we can hopefully move forward now. So maybe
Yes,
you
we
can,
could start the process. Yep,
that'd be great. But in the meantime, we'll try to get the lawn mowed and get it cleaned up some, okay?
yep.
All right, good. All right, any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The resolution carries 7-0. Okay, that concludes our last public hearing, and so now I would move to suspend the rules so that anyone who may want to speak for up to 3 minutes on any item on tonight's agenda is welcome to come forward and speak. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. So the floor is open for anyone who may want to come forward and speak for up to 3 minutes. Yep, do you want to speak? Welcome.
Actually,
I don't think it is. The best thing to do is sit, and you'll have a mic right in front of you, and the video will capture that as well.
If I may, I'd like to present these
Sure.
quickly.
Welcome.
Thank you. No, I just want to pass it. This is my personal opinion. That's all right, that might be still in. Is this working? There we go. All right. I'll make this quick. Good evening. My name is Jamie Brown. I'm here with my wife, Christine. We reside at 16 Lindbergh Place. For those not familiar with Lindbergh Place, it's a one-way street with 1930s colonials between North Grand and Innes Avenue. It's quaint, it's quiet, it's peaceful, and it's classical charm. We love our home, we love our neighbors. It is a great neighborhood where neighbors help neighbors. I'm here tonight to speak about a matter of public health and safety that has existed for 5 years. My neighbor Megan Brown at 14 Lindbergh has accrued 5 years of zoning code violations with no abatement, action, and or remediation. The house, as you can see from those photos, were taken yesterday. They present a fire hazard, toxicity hazard, is attracting rodents, breeding mosquitoes, and other insects. There are appliances, bins, plastics, paints, solvents, trash, and many unknown items buried beneath the filth and the overgrowth. My neighbors, including myself, have offered on numerous occasions to help in removing the constant accumulation of items in Megan's yard. Each time our offer was laughed at or brushed off. I have contacted Adult Mental Health, County Hoarding Task Force, filed a complaint with Town Zoning. I even spoke with the fire chief and fire inspector. She has refused any help or intervention. Zoning has visited the house multiple times over the past 5 years, most recently this May. Notices have been ignored, citations ignored, and as of 18 June 2026, she failed to appear in court regarding her most recent zoning code violation. Our town codes are clear and written very specific in what should occur. I'm not going to read them all to you, but I'm going to list there's about 14 codes that she's in violation with right now, to include fire. All right, and I can give you a copy of this letter if you like that as well. I'm only addressing the outside, okay? I've easily observed the inside from the street. It's far worse and has been alarming since last fall. I only mention this because my neighbor's already accidentally set her house on fire. All right, you can note that the external damage in the photos, you'll see the melted siding. Within those photos don't show you is the fire spread to my yard. A neighbor saw the flames and called 911. Fortunately, our fire department was already in the neighborhood, responded to another call, and the damage would have been much more severe. This home has been in constant violation of code for 5 years, okay? As I mentioned prior, the zoning department has done their due diligence. They have, and they brought this case to court. Since Megan failed to show, there should have been mandatory action. However, the court clerk doesn't have her birthday. Thankfully, our town supervisor, the Honorable Rebecca Edwards, has listened to my complaint on my behalf, myself and my neighbors, and has been very proactive, so I appreciate it. Thank you, ma'am. We are most appreciative of her efforts. The town police department has been contacted in an effort to secure that correct and complete information for the court. My concern is not the warrant or a fine, okay? My concern is there's a serious health and safety violation next to my house and my neighbor's house. It's growing and persistent problem. We are battling rodents, smells, growing pestilence from mosquitoes, other insects breeding next door, and a constant fear that the next fire is going to consume my house or worse, kill us in our sleep. So I'm asking you respectfully, please, to intervene and try to design some type of mediation or some type of immediate abatement for this hazard that I'm living next to. Please, and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. We will continue to trace this and see what we can do.
Do you want these records back, or?
Does everyone see them?
Yeah, this is a whole pile that you can look through.
Maybe we can pass them all the way down so everybody has a chance to look at them, and then we'll pass them at the end. Okay, thanks. All right, thank you. Anyone else in the room who wanted to speak? I see 2 or 3 hands over here. Don't have my glasses on. Welcome.
Tripping over myself. Thank you so much. Lisa Call, Town of Poughkeepsie resident, County Legislator for District 6. I'm here to applaud you for thinking about long-term impacts and for taking proactive steps to mitigate our greenhouse gas emissions by establishing and adopting a municipal refrigerant management program. When we talk about climate action, we often focus on very big, visible things like solar panels or electric vehicles. But something like this is a far less visible thing, but is much more impactful. The refrigerants in our town's air conditioners, chillers, refrigeration systems, they are powerful greenhouse gas. They have powerful greenhouse gases. Many of them hundreds or thousands of times more potent than carbon dioxide. And when these gases leak or are released during servicing, they do real damage to the climate. Yet because it happens quietly out of sight, it's easy to overlook. That's exactly why a management program matters. I imagine that our town operates refrigerant-containing equipment across many buildings and facilities. A program would give us a clear picture of what we have, catch and repair leaks before they worsen, ensure refrigerants are properly recovered instead of vented, and plan responsibly for replacing aging equipment. These are the kind of steady, behind-the-scenes actions that add up to meaningful emissions reductions. I also want to point out that this isn't a choice between the environment and the budget. This program saves money, will save money for us. Refrigerants are becoming more expensive, and repairing leaks and recovering refrigerants protects our town from waste, emergency purchases, and costly equipment failures. And it's the climate measure that pays for itself while cutting emissions. So I thank you again for thinking ahead as always, and this is the kind of good government that we've come to expect from you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I have to be really honest, we are applying for a grant, and the grant required us to look at our refrigerant management policy, and so that's what prompted us, but that's a good reason to get started on this, right? And I want to thank Trevor Rettle in my office, who did a lot of work on the legwork, and we've looked at this, and we are going to, I think, be able to get a lot done with this new policy. Okay, there was another hand. Yes, welcome.
Steve Osterly's Third Ward, is related to the comptroller's report. So, yeah, I saw what was, posted, but hopefully, as part of the report, we can get what the current fund balance is, which, I know that should be available because it was in the audit report at the end of 24, even though 25 has not been audited yet. There should be a number available. And also to ask why the AFR still hasn't been filed. I know the past has been said, well, nobody does it. Well, throughout New York State, 85% of the towns and cities have filed on time. In Dutchess County, it's a little bit better. 86% have filed. There's 3 that haven't, the town of Poughkeepsie being the largest, town of Fishkill, and Hyde Park. So I think it's, being the largest municipality in the county, that we can't get our filings done in on time should be embarrassing to people. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there anyone else in the room who would like to speak? If not, I'll move to folks online. Doreen, welcome.
Thank you. I have a comment about number 15 about the schedule of fees for the gymnasium rentals at 244 Boardman Road. I can't believe how convoluted these fees are. I've never seen anything like this in the 25 years that I've been attending town board meetings. Why is it like that? And what's with all the discounts and the surcharges? And I don't know. I don't know how you're really going to make sure that people are paying what they're supposed to be paying. And the other part of this is that I wonder if when the traffic count was done for moving to the Boardman Road site, if you included in there that all these, non-town based residents and groups and businesses were going to be able to use the gym. But my big concern here is the fee schedule. It's just very convoluted.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we will address that when we get to that resolution. So, Susan Carnes-Hecht, welcome.
Hi, thank you very much. On behalf of the Climate Smart Task Force, I just want to also speak, as Lisa did, in strong support of adopting the refrigerant management plan. This was fast-tracked recently because of the need related to the grant application, but just for everyone to understand that we already had this in the works. So Climate Smart is delighted to see this happening. And I also want to let everyone know that we are going to be participating in a county-wide effort to do refrigerant recycling drives for residents. So people will be able to bring old appliances that have refrigerants in them to an event where the refrigerants will be properly and safely captured before the metal is scrapped. There are a bunch of people working on doing that with the blessing of the Dutchess County solid waste folks. So that's in the pipeline as well. So I really appreciate this is happening here. And we will, by the way, be getting Climate Smart points for this, which is also a wonderful thing. Thank you.
It's great, thank you. The Climate Smart Task Force is usually ahead of us, but we got ahead of you for once, so I'm really excited. When the date is, when there's the refrigerant event, please let us know so we can let people know about the refrigerant event too.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, thank you.
Great. Is there anyone else in the room or online who wanted to speak? All right, seeing none, I move that we return to regular session.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries 7-0. All right, so then that moves us on to the resignation of Rachel Schur as Recreation Assistant at the Senior Center. And we acknowledge and accept with regret her resignation. So moved.
Second.
She's been a great participant in the recreation, as a recreation helper at the Senior Center. She's moving. We're sorry to lose her. So, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries 7-0. And we wish her the very best in her retirement from the Senior Center. Okay. The next thing we have is the report from our town controller. Welcome. We can, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I want to address AFR-related questions. City of Poughkeepsie has also not filed a AFR as of now, in addition to the 3 towns that they have mentioned. Next year on, we will be filing our AFR ahead of our timing, and I'll make sure that it is done before the audit is done. The reason for this AFR to be late is because of joint water AFR. We are waiting for them, and also we wait for joint sewer financial statements. That is part of our audit now. It is part of our fund. So
That would be the Tri-Muni Sewer Commission
Yes.
and the joint water plant with the city of Poughkeepsie, so, yeah.
yes, so we do wait for that as well to do our AFR. So we are halfway through the year, second quarter. This report is for the second quarter of fiscal year 2026. This represents 50% of the budget. Revenue and expenditures figures reflect year-to-date actuals as of this June 30th, 2026. So it's actual from January 1/1/2026 to June 30th, 2026. We have 5 major funds that we budget for: Fund A, Fund B, Part Town, Highway Fund, Water Fund, and Sewer Fund. This slide shows our second quarter financial snapshot. The original budget for Fund A was $8.44 million. Our revised budget, due to ARPA modification, it came to $9.06 million. Out of that, we have used $6.51 million of year-to-date actual. So we have 70.9% of revenue that is collected so far. Fund B, $28.33 million. Revised budget came up to $28.33. Year-to-date actual amount received is $22.60 million. So we are at 79.6% of our budget. Highway Fund, $7.81 million. We are at 88% of revenue which is received. Water Fund, 34%, and Sewer Fund is at 47.7%. Our expenses, we are on track. I look for 50% right now. Every single department or every single fund is under 50%. Water and sewer revenue figures, it reflects our billing. June billing is just done. So we are in process of receive those funds. So the revenue for that 2 funds are pretty low than 50%. General Fund A, this is a town-wide fund. The primary operating fund for the town accounts for all general government financial resources. Property tax remain the largest revenue source and has been fully received in this year. Our total revenue collected is $6.51 million against the revised budget of $9.6 million. Revenue is ahead of 50% of benchmark for second quarter. This is primarily due to our front-loaded property tax collection and interest earning. Expenses, we have spent so far 43.7% of our total budget. The actual spending is below 50%, which is 43.7%. The encumbrances and planned operating costs will continue to be monitored by me and my staff throughout quarter 3. General Fund B, Part Town, revenue and expenditures for service provided outside the village of Wappingers Falls, which is police, planning, and zoning. Property tax and in lieu of taxes have been collected 100%, which is front-loaded revenue item in this. Total revenue is $22.6 million of $28.38 million budgeted is collected, which is 79.6%. Sales tax, police-related revenue, and departmental revenue will be continued to be tracked throughout the second half of the year. Expenses, we have spent so far 38.3% of total expenditures. Police and public safety spending remains within the expected mid-year range. Retirement, insurance, and all of our expenses that are in contracts are progressing as scheduled. Revenue remains strongly front-loaded while expenses remain below the mid-year benchmark. Highway fund. This fund records the revenue and expenditure related to the repair and maintenance of town roads. We are at 88% of revenue collection so far. Most of the revenue in this department is property tax, and which we have collected 100% of it. NYS DOT CHIPS reimbursement and other transportation aid are anticipated during the remainder of the year. So we will be monitoring the other DOT CHIPS and all the other revenue, which is minor in this particular fund. Expenses, we are at 45.6% in this particular fund. Actual spending is below the 50% benchmark. Our POs reflect planned seasonal highway work. Road maintenance, equipment, and improvement spendings will increase during Q3. Highway fund remains on pace with mid-year, and we are with planned seasonal work expected in the second half of 2026. Water fund, as mentioned before, because of our collections and our billing cycles, the second quarter is just billed, so we will be receiving the revenue right now for July, August, and September for the second quarter. Expenses, we are at 45.7%. Water purchase cost and maintenance actively are tracking close to the mid-year benchmark. Line repairs and operational needs will continue to be monitored during the summer months. Our revenue is always for water and sewer is going to be due to billing cycles, so it's the same comment for water and sewer. Sewer rents remains largely revenue source. Billing timing continues to affect the mid-year collection. In contrast to our A, B, and DB fund, this is mostly our rents and maintenance. So the revenue is based upon our billing. So when we bill, we are going to collect afterwards. Expenses, we are at 32.3% so far. Management services and operating costs remain below the mid-year benchmark. Debt service and operating activities will continue through the remainder of fiscal year 2026. Our highlights in summary as of second quarter end. At midpoint of fiscal year 2026, the town remains in a strong financial position. Revenue remains front-loaded in tax support funds. All 5 major funds are tracking below 50% of actual expenditure benchmark. Water and sewer revenue continues to reflect billing cycles timing difference. Collection will continue to be monitored and are expected to normalize throughout the remainder of the year. Highway fund encumbrances reflect planned seasonal road work, while actual spending remains below the mid-year benchmark. Budget transfer and ARPA spending will continue to be monitored monthly. As you all know that the ARPA should be used by end of this year, so we will be monitoring that throughout the year to ensure that town does not have to, give any money back to the federal government. Based on mid-year actuals, economic trend, and fiscal activity through June 30, 2026. Mortgage tax will continue to be monitored through Q3 as market activity and interest rate affect collections. Mid-year result will help. It's helping us to just anticipate where 2026 or 2027, now we are in a process of doing 2027 budget. So after we close 2020, once we received our 6-month income from county, we will be able to figure out how can we budget and how much can we budget for 2027. Sales tax revenue, sales tax distribution are tracking as an important revenue source for Part Town B. Q3 collections will provide a clearer indication of full year performance compared with the budget. Interest income, interest earning remains an important revenue driver. Performance should be monitored as rate changes. We will do this for rest of 2026 as well as 2027 budget. Capital projects and budget consideration. Town hall and police court project debt service projection continue to be evaluated by us and Munistat. Water sewer billing timing, and ARPA spending should be reviewed, or we are reviewing it on a monthly basis to make sure that we are on track for mid-November spending deadline. And that is it for me for second quarter. So we are pretty good for second quarter so far.
Okay, thank you very much. This is extremely helpful as we get the budget together and start thinking about 2027 to see where we are at mid-year. Are there questions from board members? I know the finance committee has already reviewed the numbers with Menno.
Yes, I have a couple of questions. About the AFR filing, we don't have any consequences, like there's no penalty or anything, right, if we file late. The only reason we are late because of you're filing more accurate numbers, then you could file it earlier, then need to do corrections later because we don't have the numbers. Is that right?
Absolutely, because we still don't have the accrued numbers as of the deadline.
Right.
We don't have a joint water and or our joint sewage numbers as of now. So prior to 2023, joint water was just, we used to just give them the funds. Now it's a part of my fund. One of my fund is joint water. So we heavily rely on their financials before we finalize our AFR.
Right.
So, So we could assume then that the city of Poughkeepsie, who administers the joint water budget, has probably not done their AFR. Otherwise, we would have their fund, right? Their balances and their budget done.
City of Poughkeepsie has not filed their AFR as of now.
Okay.
Joint water has filed their AFR. So based upon joint water AFR, we prepare, they are not required to do an audit. So
Okay.
they only do the AFR, joint water. And based upon their numbers, we prepare our financial statements.
Okay.
But they, if I remember correctly, I was asking the Joint Water Board, they do also, they also conduct an audit that I asked because of this AFR for us, can they do it earlier? They said no. They can give you the data earlier. They said no. Because there's no way they can, that's the administrator told us, I mean, Poughkeepsie, City of Poughkeepsie administrator.
But we'd be working on getting it closer to the date next year.
Yes,
Right.
that's my goal. That's one
Yeah.
of my goals for
Yeah,
next year.
still now what we are trying to do is still trying to plug in the number, then we will go back and do corrections, right? Because we won't be able to finish the audit before to file the AFR on time. That's the reality basically, right?
As of now, my financial statements are in a draft. I am waiting for joint sewer to give me their audit. We are waiting for their audit. I am sitting with that draft financial statement since last 2 weeks.
Right.
So even though no matter how much time we put in to get this on time, on our audit and our financials done on time, but we are still waiting for other entities to finish up their financial statements. Otherwise, we won't be able to issue our audit report.
Okay, I had a question. First of all, thank you, Manel, for the very clear report and your diligence. Just to clarity, and I think you've explained to me before, what is ARPA and what do we have to do to spend this?
So ARPA, we received over $4 million during COVID as a
American Rescue Plan funds from the federal government that was COVID recovery. And we had a number of years to spend them, and this is the last one. So most of it's spent, but we have a little bit left, right?
yes.
In a couple of departments. We had to commit it all by the end of last year to specific purposes, but we had one more year to complete spending it, so. Most of it has been spent on water projects. As a new board member, I can find for you the list of things that was spent on water, infrastructure needs, various other things, that were, police, the roof of the police and current police and courts building, which now needs repairs again because it keeps sinking, but, a number of things were used for those funds were used, and we have just a little bit left. So we can talk about where those are and making sure that they get spent before the end of the year.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
Anybody else? Questions? The audit is underway, right?
Yes, it's draft financials we already have the draft financials. We are going to meet with the finance committee with Shannon for them to just review the draft financials. Still, we are waiting for Joint Sewer to give us their financials. Before that, they won't release our financials.
Okay. Thanks. Anybody
Thank
else? Okay, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Okay, I lost track of where we are. Shall we?
Number 10.
Right, well, I'm just thinking which of us is
Oh,
it?
gosh,
So we
I have
start
no
back
idea.
with Greg. Do you want to start back with
Okay.
Yeah,
resolution
that's actually
10?
exactly where we were.
Okay, good, perfect.
Okay, this is resolution number 10 is about Tranquil Hudson Cannabis. It's a public hearing for a proposed cannabis retail dispensary, setting that date for August 19th.
So
So moved.
this is a resolution to set the date for the public hearing.
Second. All right, so, so we have a presentation about the project and some information. You can plug in and share your screen, maybe, if that's possible. And let us know a little bit about it, and then the public will have some information ahead of the public hearing.
Sorry, there's a bit of a lag. Are you able to see my screen?
We are. Thank you.
Fantastic. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having us tonight. My name is Carrie Larson. I work on behalf of 10X Strategies, who is the representative of the applicant, Tranquil Hudson Cannabis, founded and owned by Colleen and Aaron Palmer, mother and son. So they are joined with me today. So we're very excited to be here. This is just a brief overview, as this is the meeting to set the public hearing. So this is a brief overview of the project to introduce the team ahead of you and the project parcel itself. So just as a background of the company, here as the applicant, Colleen and Aaron work in the community, working in Medicare, and have done so for over 15 years. They own Palmer Business Solutions together and run that business previously out of Hyde Park, and now they'll be moving that business into the fourth unit of this project parcel, which is at 794 Dutchess Turnpike. So previously, this property was used as a hookah shop, vape shop. The building itself could use some love, and we're hoping to bring that to the community with this project. So we're really excited to do so. Sorry, again, they're longtime residents of Dutchess County, and moving on. So Tranquil Hudson Cannabis is a New York State licensed cannabis dispensary. So they went through the approval process with the Office of Cannabis Management, receiving their license approval for this location by the Cannabis Control Board this year. So in that process, we submit a notice to the town in which we submit our intent to operate at the proposed location. During that time, the town can either request an extension for response or respond directly within the 30-day window to the OCM. And then after such time, the OCM can approve the location and give it to the CCB to give the final licensure, of which they did. So that was effective on May 20th of this year, and now that's why we are before the board now, because we have our license. So the proposed property is in the BH district, which the town board has identified as being a viable district for cannabis dispensaries, licensed cannabis dispensaries, as authorized by special use permit, which is why we're here today. So with that, there's required separations from sensitive uses, of which we are all 4 times beyond the threshold that is requirement. So those are schools, places of worship. The town of Poughkeepsie identifies public parks, parcels of that nature, where there's could be youth congregation, right? So the goal and opportunity for us is to be removed from those types of operations and places of worship, churches, schools, all of that nature. So again, we're 4 times beyond that threshold. You'll see in your application package the buffer map of the separation, and I could pull that up at the end if you'd like to see. So this is the current property condition, of which you'll see the parking lot. It's a bit of rough shape, the building facade itself. At this location, there are 4 units currently. This has been built out a very long time ago, I believe in the 50s or 60s. And the 3 units to the right of the last use of the vape shop have been vacant for quite some time. So with this is an opportunity for reinvestment into the community. So the aging facade, there is currently a pylon sign which will be removed and be replaced with a monument sign, more in line with the town's comprehensive plan and vision. And then again, the worn parking will be improved and relined, all of that. So this is the goal and the vision of the improved facade, of which you'll see some warmer colors that is in line with the surrounding property businesses. So directly across the street to the left, if you're in the parking lot, there is a restaurant. Their facade is very similar, minus the colors that we're bringing in, but the darker tones, more natural finishes. So we're keeping the brick, but some of the bricks are in rough shape, so we're improving that a little bit there. There's currently a trash enclosure that is secure masonry in the back. We will be reusing that. That was approved by the planning board back in 2010. But we're also improving site lighting. There's a lack of lighting at the site right now. We want to make sure that individuals throughout the parking lot feel safe, and that there's visibility throughout the parking lot so that we can, know what's happening. There's no consumption permitted on site, so, the visibility into the parking lot and the surrounding area is very important. There's also security around the entire building, so from every direction, we'll be able to have 24-hour access to that security. So really the benefits of this investment and to the local community is first and foremost, the revitalization. Speaking with some folks earlier, the property, was in some rough shape. We're looking to do some improvements there, so we're excited for that opportunity. The local revenue, I know you folks already have dispensaries in town. You understand the revenue that comes in from these types of businesses. So that is 3% of every dollar of revenue from the cannabis business goes directly back to the town. And 1% goes to Dutchess County, which then is redistributed through separate funds. Local jobs, as the Palmers are local, they have a commitment to hiring local and having people who know the area, know the people that they're serving. and continuing to train individuals to progress their career and maintain a job within their own community. And again, this is a safe and regulated alternative to the illicit or black market where there is not strict adherence to testing standards, to age gating, the requirement and obligation to ID every individual attempting to make a purchase is very important, and one of the requirements of these licensees, and a continuation that will be throughout their operation. Having worked in Medicare previously, they understand the importance of operating a well-run, regulated industry, and hope to continue to do so at this site. So again, this is just an introduction ahead of the public hearing. I welcome any comments or questions ahead of there. And if you would like to see any of the site documentation, the more formalized site plan, lighting plan, or facades, I have those in additional slides, or you have those in your packets in front of you.
Thank you very much. And you'll be back on August 19th. I don't think we'll need the presentation again because we heard it tonight and it'll be on video for anybody who wants to follow it, but it'd be good for you to be here if there's any public comments or questions, right?
I have a quick question, and I
Yep.
think I know the answer. But your new design, you would use the entire what are now 4 storefronts? You would have the entire building?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me just go back just for you to
Yeah,
see.
that's-
So the, can you see my mouse?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So these doors, there's this door is existing to remain. This door is also existing to remain. This door is actually currently here. And so we're centering those 2 doors so that the operation is centered slightly. So yes, that sign is going to be over those 2 center doors. The Palmers have been undecided if they want to include a sign for their Palmer Business Solutions. Individuals who are going to that business, they know, they have an appointment, they know where they're going. There'll be likely a number of the unit, something to signal to those individuals where to go. But yes, at this time, that's where that sign would be, or is proposed to be.
So there's not going to be a tenant, but there will be 2 businesses, one of which is the dispensary and the other which is Palmer Business Solutions will also be on the site. So there'll be a Business Solutions, not necessarily signed or marked, but on the site as well.
Yeah, so
Okay.
they are separate tenancies, so the 3 units are being combined, but the separate 4th unit are staying separate. So there's privacy aspect of, Medicare and insurance, so that'll all be separate, and have a separate entrance, but it is the same individuals and tenant, if that's the question.
Thank you for that
And you are purchasing the building?
We are not purchasing the building. The building was just purchased by new ownership, by an individual named John Lease of North Plank Development.
Yes.
So it is new ownership of the building as well as new tenants.
Okay. Thank you
Do
very
how long
much.
ago it was purchased?
Sorry, what was that?
How long ago it was purchased?
I believe it was finalized in April. And that deed is in your application
Yeah, I was
package.
just curious.
And this is the first dispensary that you've run? The first time venture for this?
Yes, yeah, this is a sole operation. So this is their one and only license. This is where they'll be operating.
Great.
And I'm sure you're aware that there's another cannabis store not too far down the street on 44, so I hope that you have realistic expectations of what the sales volumes are going to be. Yeah, because we have quite a few cannabis stores now, and there's a lot of competition. Yeah.
If I missed it, I apologize, but did you indicate what the hours of operation?
Yes.
I did not go over that, no. The hours of operation are set to be proposed to be Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. in line with the code, and that is just what is proposed as of current.
And the follow-up question is the security measures you mentioned to restrict purchases to adults. What, generally speaking, how would you enforce?
Yeah, absolutely. So the requirements of the regulations by the New York State is that at the point of purchase, individuals need to be identified. They need to present a proper form of identification. So beyond that, there is an obligation to monitor the individuals coming into the store to ensure that underage individuals are not coming in and, being somewhere that they shouldn't be. So with that, there will be monitoring and IDing at the door, but no purchases can be made on the floor. There's no actual product that's ever on the sales floor. It's just like empty packaging for people to view. Different brands will provide things for people to view, but there's no product on the floor that needs to be obtained from it, like a pharmacy where you go into the back and you obtain it and you provide it to the customer and they say, yep, this is what I wanted. And at that point, we identify their proper identification. So just like a bartender or an individual working at a liquor store is trained to properly identify identification, bud tenders will be done that has that same training.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right. Any other questions for now? Okay, thank you for the information. Thank you for the packet. Appreciate you being here. Very nice to meet you all. And we are voting to set the public hearing for August 19th, right? Any further comment from the board? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, the resolution carries 7-0, so the hearing will be set for August 19th. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It's great meeting you all.
Oh, mine, sorry. Resolution number 11. This is a resolution establishing a municipal refrigerant management program and adopting a refrigerant management plan in the town for hydrofluorocarbons, HFCs, and probably CFCs. So moved.
Second.
Although
Okay.
there's probably no more CFCs.
So
because
it's
they
just, I just want to make a couple of points clear. This basically requires the town to make an inventory of anything that has refrigerants in it, make sure that when we're disposing of things, we're handling those properly, and also that, we try to purchase things with the lowest, in a responsible way so that we're not also purchasing equipment that has additional refrigerants in it when we can help it, or the lowest available global warming potential. This does not apply to everybody in the town. It just applies to the town's own operations, but I'm happy to hear from the Climate Smart Task Force that they're also going to be doing some outreach to help other people manage refrigerants. If you've got a small refrigerator and you're throwing it away or something like that, you can get some help figuring out how to do that correctly. Okay, any questions, comments?
I had a question. There's, under responsibility, section 3, there's really two individuals or groups that are called out, the town legislative aid and the building department. I just want to know, have they reviewed this and they feel this is workable?
Yes, they have. Bruce Flower and Trevor Rettle with the people, and Trevor's been keeping like a inventory of our fleet and other things, so this will come under his framework, and Bruce Flower reviewed it earlier this week and didn't see an issue. We need to talk about with other department heads, because there may be other department heads with refrigerants that we need to manage, but I don't think this is going to be, we need to make an inventory by the end of the year and figure out, what things we need to do over the next year, but we should be able to handle it.
I have to make a correction. I just spouted out CFCs, but those were banned in 1987 from the Montreal Protocol.
Right.
And CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons, were the inert chemical that was destroying the ozone. So then they made hydrofluorocarbons, which I believe does not hurt the ozone, but they are still, as Lisa Call said, an extremely high global warming potential. So carbon dioxide has a global warming potential of 1. We just use that as a base and compare everything else to CO2. Methane is about 25 times more potent at warming the atmosphere. HFCs can be up to 13,000 times more potent. So Lisa did say 100 to 1,000, but what I teach my students in environmental science is it's 13,000 times more potent. And one of the worst ones is SF6, sulfur fluoride 6. It's something used in electricity and stuff like that. So I think this is fantastic, and there is a program or an idea, future forward thinking, as to use CO2 as the refrigerant. Because, we say, oh, CO2 is really bad, but if CO2 is only 1 times the global warming potential, it actually could, redefine refrigerant and get rid of hydrofluorocarbons.
Does this affect the transfer station? Or is it just our stuff?
I don't think so. I think that's another issue for the Climate Smart Task Force, if people are bringing in items to be thrown away that are coming to the transfer station that have refrigerants in them. But those are not covered here. This is just things that the town owns, from our own equipment, so,
Yeah,
okay?
also, from Climate Smart, Susan mentioned that we will have drives that people could bring their old air conditioner or refrigerator, that we could collect and capture the chemicals that safely, transported and recycled where it's supposed to be.
They have Habitat for Humanity there now. Maybe next year it'll be somebody collecting the fridges.
Yeah.
Or something.
Okay. Any other comments?
I totally support this one. I'm advocating for 6-7 years on this kind of project, and I'm really excited to see something the town took initiative, and I'm fully support this one resolution.
Great. You can come to the next department heads meeting and help us sort out what kind of refrigerants we have and
I'll
help us
definitely.
figure out, make sure that we're taking care of everything, which would be great. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution carries 7-0.
Resolution 12, authorizing the town supervisor to apply for a grant to the new New York State Department of Environment Conservation under the Climate Smart Community Grant Program, FY26. So moved.
Second.
Okay, this is an application to the Climate Smart Communities Grant Program, which comes up at the end of the month. And as you'll see, the goal is to get some funding for the HVAC component of the new police and courts facility, which will be at this site. And we're converting to a heat pump system. And we are still determining whether that would be air source or ground source, most likely air source heat pumps. But the Climate Smart grants we're a Climate Smart community and we're eligible to apply for these funds. The $1 million of matching funds from our municipal budget would be part of what we are borrowing to construct the police and courts facility. So that's not $1 million added to our 2027 budget. That's, part of the much larger amount of money that we are spending on the project that we're borrowing for as it comes forward. So just to make that clear. And this would help us with the costs of the police and court facility if we can secure the grant. I want to thank Trevor Rettle, who's done a huge amount of work on this, and also Labella Architects, because this grant requires some really complicated calculations as to how much fossil fuels you're using now in the current building and how much reduction there will be. There's all these mathematical tables. And Sophia, our grant writer, is terrific, but it was Labella who then was able to help us with those pieces. So I think it's a strong application, and fingers crossed that this will come in. Any questions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Resolution carries 7-0.
Resolution number 13 is a resolution authorizing the supervisor to submit a grant application to the Water Infrastructure Improvement Act grant program. And this is for clean and drinking water improvements. So moved.
Second. Okay, this is for replacement of lead service lines. It's a very large grant. And I just want to emphasize that if we secure this, this would be over a very long period, probably 20 years that we would undertake this. Maybe less. The federal government has said that all lead line replacement must happen within 10 years. I don't know any municipality that thinks it's going to meet that deadline. And so the deadline itself is under consideration. Is this realistic? But we would be over a period of time using these funds and matching them with our water revenues as the matching funds to do this. The water department and the highway department work together very carefully, and the water department replaces lines when the highway department is already ripping up a road, so we don't have to do it twice. So over a period of time, we'd make a plan for those roads where this needs to be done. It's really complicated work because the requirement is to replace the lead line all the way up. And so you may be replacing people's shrubbery. You're much more than ordinarily. You're in their private property all the way to the building. So it's expensive and it's complicated, but this would give us a leg up on getting this required work done and making sure that we don't have lead service lines. We do not have that many in the town. I mean, we have, $19 million worth. But compared to other municipalities as a percentage, I think there's something like 8% or something like that. So it's not a large percentage, but it's nonetheless a very, very big project, and this would set us up to do that to do what, they've been doing some work, they're doing some this summer, but this would set us up to continue the work and have some funding to help.
Especially comparing to city of Poughkeepsie.
Yes.
They, is it correct, they receive about 10 million through all, along with the DRA, or?
It was prior to that.
Okay.
I think Congressman Pat Ryan secured some funding for them. But they have a much higher percentage of lead lines, and if you look at the amount we would be estimating here to replace ours, even that 10 million is it'll only take them so far. It's an enormous project to replace lead lines. So, but this would enable us to move forward. But this would not, for certain, a very small percentage of this would be next year. It would be ongoing through the next 10 years at least, and probably more.
So the total of this would be 29.26? Do I read that right? It's 10 plus the additional?
I believe that that's the total amount is 19,260. The grant would be for 10. And then the town of Poughkeepsie's 30% match added to that.
Plus anything.
Plus
not
anything
covered.
additional.
Brings it up to $19,260,000.
If it's a 10 million grant, then we would have.
Our required match would be 30%.
So that's
I think
3.
10 million is the maximum that we can apply for, and 19.26 is what's estimated, what the water department estimates is the cost of doing everything we need to do. So that's more than,
If we got the grant, we would commit to another 3 for sure, immediately to match.
exactly.
And then it'd be an additional 6.26 to complete the project.
Yes, which we would essentially have to do anyway. We've been doing this on an ongoing basis, but that's the estimate for the total cost of the project of what remains to be done. So,
This grant would cut our expenses in half.
Yeah.
yep, it would essentially cover half of the cost of what remains to be done.
Okay.
So, all right, any other questions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The resolution carries 7-0. I think it's Ryan, yep.
Yeah. Resolution 14, this is to authorize execution of an addendum to a previously awarded appraisal contract with Baker Tilly. So moved.
Second.
Okay, so I could just give the supervisor's report now and save us time later, because this relates to IBM, and that's the main thing I wanted to talk about for just a minute tonight. IBM has proposed to the IDA, as I said at the last meeting, a large payment in lieu of taxes agreement that would be 30 years, and that would cover the cost, would replace their regular taxes for the $2.5 billion project they're planning for Quantum at their current facility, of which 900 million, would be a building construction. As we understand it right now, the IDA, the Industrial Development Agency of the county, which is a board that can grant such payments in lieu of taxes, and that receives applications for those. They did table this at their July meeting, but they're proposing to meet again on August 19th. So between now and August 19th, we're in conversation, beginning a conversation with IBM to understand exactly what they propose and clarify it. The town has had a 15-year payment in lieu of taxes with IBM already. It's a rather unusual arrangement in which IBM's taxes were frozen, I believe, at $838,000 a year for 15 years, so there was no step up, no increment. The exact same payment has been made since 2011. That agreement expires at the end of this year, last day of 2026, and at the same time, IBM's bringing in Quantum. So we did earlier, if you remember, a bunch of months back, a contract with Baker Tilly to do an appraisal of the current value of the property. That is forthcoming. They're in the final stages of working on that draft now. And what this is, since we did that, IBM has rolled out this proposed quantum computing facility. And so what this would be an additional $7,000 to ask Baker Tilly also over the next couple of weeks to do a, what they call, I believe, a forecast analysis, which is essentially an appraisal of something that hasn't been built yet. You know, taking the descriptions of what IBM is proposing, and then on the town's behalf, estimating what the regular tax payment on that project would be. So it's essentially an appraisal of something that doesn't exist yet. It's not as comprehensive as a regular appraisal, but it's a valuable tool for the town to understand if IBM is asking for a tax break on this new quantum facility, well, what would taxes look like if no break was going to be offered? And we need to know that number. So the recommendation is to have them do this as an addendum to their appraisal of the property as a whole, and they can get it to us within about 3 weeks, they said. So.
That's a really good piece of information to have.
I think it's an important piece of information to have, because this is going to be I think a pretty intensive conversation. If you've been following, you know that IBM would like to break ground on this project in September. They're well along in the planning process. They'll be back to the planning board in August. So it's with great urgency that we, you know, jump in and be part of this conversation, and with all the information that we can get. Any further questions? Any questions on that? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The resolution carries 7-0.
Okay, and resolution 15. This is a resolution to amend the fee schedule under chapter 105 to include gymnasium rentals at 244 Boardman Road, and has a standard hourly rate for gymnasium rentals at $125 an hour. And there's a discount for if you're doing it during the weekday from 8 to 4, and a discount for affiliated, town-affiliated leagues that have, or people have year-long leases with us. Oh, and there's also a discount for town-based senior citizen groups. So moved.
Second. Okay. All right, so just to speak to some questions that were raised earlier, we have a challenge in the new facility of making sure that we earn revenues on that facility that help us run it and cover our bills, but also to make it affordable to community groups to use. And so our goal here is to, and also to make it, to make sure the place is full, right? So the rates here reflect an effort to encourage weekday use between 8 and 4, which when it's gonna be less widely used, and to discount rates for town-based leagues and nonprofits, senior citizen groups in the town, so that we're making the gym affordable to those groups, but also earning enough to you know, make sure that the facility operates. We're going to need a little while to figure out who are the best users, and how this works, so.
My question is a brain one that, I'm sorry, when I look at this, it hurts me as well. Is there any way that they could have a fee for those 25% discounts, and then have a fee for the surcharges instead of, it seems kind of, you know, isn't that easy to figure out? What that fee would be, 25% of 120?
Well, that'd
List
be
that 3 times and then 10%?
It'd be $90 an hour.
Right.
Right, so wouldn't that be easier?
That's just the way you write it up, but you could.
It just
Right.
seems
And
confusing to me.
If the board wishes, we could take it back and look at it a little bit more.
It's the same
if we wish,
information, though. I mean, if we pass this resolution, when we go to write that up, we could say that based on
But
120.
I don't know about using the word discount if you just have a price for, it's just me, I don't know.
I think the idea was that you could have more than one discount, so I think trying to write out all the potential combinations.
Oh, you mean A and B is also, you could have
Would be
even more
additional?
discounts
So
later?
if you had a senior group during the day, they would then get a 50% discount?
Correct.
Okay.
There's an example in B, so it says specifically, so if you rent it during the week and you are a league, you get 25 plus 25 equals 50% off, so it would be $60 an hour.
Yeah, I understand, it just is very confusing, that's all.
the idea is that the evening and weekend hours are the most, are gonna be by far the heaviest use, and that we're glad to have outside groups using that space. We want them to use that space, but we wanna make sure that, town-based groups and senior citizen groups or whatever have an advantage. I know, I know the recreation committee did discuss this. We could send it back for further conversation
No,
if
it's,
people want.
it's just,
I could draft up like a
Table,
little chart.
a price schedule.
Yeah,
Yeah, price
if
schedule.
it helps.
Well, we can also try it this fall.
Sure, I think try it.
We're in a construction phase now, and the only thing that's gonna be used at that building is the gym for a little while, because we're gonna need to be working on the HVAC and other parts of the building. So we can give it a try, and we can always change it.
just the fee schedule is usually a fee, you know what I mean, a
Yep.
specific fee, so the percentages is a little, for me. When Doreen mentioned it and I looked at it, I could see her point.
Everybody okay with giving this a try? Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The resolution carries 7-0. And I believe, so we're in transition right now with last tenants who had leases that expired under Poughkeepsie Day School's ownership, ending this week and next week. We're expecting to take a couple of weeks for cleaning and painting and removing junk and things like that. But right after Labor Day, we hope the gym, the rec department will be able to start booking the gym. The other parts of the building are gonna take longer, but we can get, the gym has its own entrance, and so we're working on that. And I wanna thank all the town departments who've been helping over there, including the sewer department, which has been trying to figure out where a couple of the drains go, and the building department, which and the rec department have all been playing really big roles in helping to just start us getting work on that property. Okay.
You,
Does it go to Ann?
she did.
Oh, you did
I
the fee
motioned it.
schedule,
It goes
that's
to you.
right, okay. Change order for the pump station, okay. All right, resolution 16, authorize the supervisor to execute a change order with TAM Enterprises Incorporated for the general construction of the Spackenkill Sanitary Sewer Pump Station replacement, so moved.
Second.
Okay, so, we are still below what the board authorized for work on that site. But, the bad news is that in the site where we're putting the new pump station, which we desperately need because it's some of the last open piping in the town, and it's, I think, dates from 1959. So this is an urgently needed project, for which we have a lot of grant funds. We hit rock in an unexpected spot. So the project stopped for some weeks, and the sewer department and Andy Learn, the engineers, spent a while figuring out, were we better off starting over at another spot, along the, changing how we were gonna handle the piping and everything and moving it, some feet away, or would we be better off continuing with where we are? They determined that it's better to keep going where we are, keep going with the current project. We may not need to spend this much. We do not know how much rock we need to remove, but there is an area of rock that we weren't expecting that's gonna need to be removed. And the rock removal is basically by poundage, what it costs to get rid of the rock. So we are still under what was originally authorized, but luckily this came in at a pretty low bid, but we're gonna need to spend a little more to get it done. So that's the background on the change order, but we wanna make sure to keep this project going. So, any questions? Okay. All right, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Resolution carries 7-0.
Okay, resolution 17, authorized pickle festival for local animal shelters at Eastdale.
Second.
So moved.
Okay. We do have a question here.
Does anybody want a second?
Oh, yeah, someone did second, Shanta
Oh,
seconded,
okay,
yep,
okay,
so,
sorry,
yeah.
thanks.
All right, so we have a question here to consider, and I'd like to make an amendment to this, or I think that's the right way to do it. So this has become an incredibly popular event, and I want to thank Felicia Salvatore for pointing out that in addition to, I think, how many vendors? 62, 66 vendors or something?
Last I,
It's way beyond the size of the Eastdale Farmers Market. There'll be vendors on all over the sidewalks. They're anticipating 5,000 people.
throughout the day, the thing
Right.
is, when it's a one-day event, I can just notify the town board, but in the code it says if it's something that I feel will impede the public traffic or this or that, that it should be moved to the town board.
Right.
And this one I thought maybe you guys should discuss.
Well, I think we should discuss it, and I would like to ask the organizers of this to pay for traffic control, to pay to have police there for traffic. Because I think that, although there will already be community policing officers there, and, they're gonna be using the De La Val area to have people walk up to Eastdale beside the Eastdale Dog Park, but that's a heck of a lot of people. And in my view, I would like to move that the town board makes the approval conditional on them, working with the town police to pay for traffic enforcement at the site, just as we would for something like a college graduation. We would not contemplate having a college graduation in town without police support, and this is about the same size. So if in fact, I mean, I don't know, there could be an enormous rainstorm and 5 people could show up, but it looks like this has become a very popular event, and I think just for safety's sake, on that busy corridor, it would be good to have traffic control.
I personally don't go down that way on 44 myself, so I don't really know. I've heard from other people that it's a good event. So it's not a bad thing, it's a good event, but it's a small area that already has a lot of traffic sometimes. So I just figured I didn't want to be the one to make that decision on this particular.
Happy to have Eastdale succeed at this and have it
Yes,
be a big
absolutely.
event, and it's for local animal shelters, which is great.
Yep.
Anyway, I think I have an amendment on the table, if that's correct, which is amended to say approved by, with the stipulation that the organizers work to provide, to secure and pay for
It's
town
10:30
kids.
to 9 PM, and I don't think everybody comes at once. Is there, you wanted to do it for the whole time, or how does that work? I'm just asking us.
Where do people park? Do they have that in the plan? Because,
Yeah, she mentioned that over at Beal,
Yep.
where Bosse's was, across the street.
Oh, by the map.
So
Yeah,
if you're
there is a
driving,
sidewalk
yeah,
there.
right. If you're driving east to Eastdale and there's an industrial park to your right-hand
Oh, yes,
side,
yes, yes.
so they'll have all of that for
Okay,
parking.
okay, okay,
And then
okay.
people can walk
Walk
up
from there.
behind,
Okay,
from where
that
the
makes
dog
sense.
park is
There's a
there.
lot.
And
Over where Creekside Park is, right?
Yes,
That
yes, yes.
area.
And I think that HFARs also might have mentioned that they could use their lot if they needed it, because they're gonna be, I think, one of the vendors or something.
I mean, if other people think I'm being a little too, worrying
drive-
too much, then we can just leave it and see what
No,
happens.
no, I was
but-
just mentioning the
yeah.
parking.
I drive 44 past Eastdale every single day, and traffic already there is terrible, even on a regular day. So, yeah, I'm gonna steer clear of 44 on that day for sure. But I can't imagine how intense it's going to be over there.
My question is, do we need to have additional staff, for example, police, to pay additional, or that this is a part of the fixed cost?
So we would be directing the organizers, just like the filmmakers who come to town and others, that they need to work with the town police and they need to compensate the town police for what the police agree on is the needed traffic enforcement. So it would not be a cost to the town. We were directing them to say, we believe traffic enforcement is needed, you need to work with the police to get that lined up.
Isn't that part of the application process that you have to notify the police when you get a permit?
Yeah, the police are notified, but I think that, they have,
It's not the same.
Sorry, Chief Cavalier, you're here,
Yeah,
so you may
what do
want
you
to
think
speak
about
to
that?
it. Right. You are required to notify the police, but this is the next issue, which is.
I think they were speaking
traffic
with the
control.
community police officer.
The question is, do we want the town to discover mid-afternoon that day that we have to pay to send out additional, traffic enforcement out there because there's an enormous tangle? But I don't know. I would love your opinion on this. if you don't mind.
The question is how many people are gonna, so 5,000 people, that's in between the Vassar College graduation and Marist graduation. Vassar College, we have, the college reimburses us for 2 officers for traffic control. Marist College, that's closer to the undergrad is probably about 5, the graduate is probably about 5,000 to 6,000 people. And that, usually we have 3 to 4 officers just for traffic. On graduation day, it gets closer to 10 to 13,000, and we have just in traffic is 6, but Marist actually pays for probably about 26 officers on overtime. My normal staffing on the weekend will not cover a 5,000 man event. So,
It's not enough people.
no, and just for, even if it's 4 people per car, you're talking about 1,200, just over 1,200 cars, extra cars. I understand they're not gonna be here supposedly not be here at all. Last year was no issues, I didn't receive any complaints, I don't know why, or if they increased it, I don't remember seeing the permit last year. It wasn't a big issue last year, I don't know what happened this year, other than, I appreciate their honesty that they put the 5,000, because I have a feeling that's what the red flag is, but that is a difficult section. We've had 1 pedestrian fatality in that area. It's congested, there's only the 1 traffic light. I'd be nervous about parking at H-bars, because now that is gonna have them crossing the street, at least with Alpha Laval, not as much concerned, because there is a sidewalk that runs down from Alpha Laval to Eastdale. But I just, if everybody shows up what they say is gonna show up, it's gonna be a lot.
Would you be comfortable working with them to figure out what hours you think you need to have somebody there?
Yeah.
But I think they should pay for that coverage. Because
Well,
otherwise we may
it
get
is
into a
costly.
situation where you have to send your officers there and then we don't have coverage in some other part of town,
Correct.
so.
How, would you believe it would be cost prohibitive then to put on the event potentially?
It could be, I mean, I'd have to look at it to see the only, because, Mr. Welty's on, he did bring up a point that because of all the congestion, and you brought up, traffic will be slowed, but I'm more concerned about distractions, the extra distractions on the side of the road. That is still that design is not good in that section. When they should have lowered, I don't know who's talked to the state, it's still 40 miles an hour through that area. And it's set up like a residential street. So now you're gonna add all the commotion on either side. It's a recipe for disaster.
They really should make a pedestrian bridge right at that bit, and I know it's not gonna fit there.
There was like a
now,
5-year fight over whether there was gonna be a traffic circle or other approaches there and
But
these
what
kinds
I-
of things.
yeah.
But
They could have, if they did something like they did on Raymond Avenue, I think, that would help slow the traffic down, lower the speed limit down in that area. It might help a little bit with the congestion. That
We could
traffic
certainly-
light does.
We could certainly revisit the question of the, Shanta, this is your ward. We could revisit the question of the speed limit there. But I have driven through when they have vendors right on 44 there. And that is a concern, because you've got vendors all the way down the sidewalk, and then you've got a big throng of people going back and forth to those vendors, and it's a lot. And you've got it on both sides of you, right? It's a distracted driving situation, and we wanna make sure to slow people down, so.
It is a pretty wide sidewalk, but it's still right there that people,
Yeah.
wanna look while they're
Yeah,
driving.
the sidewalk's extra wide, but still, if you're gonna put vendors and a whole lot, 5,000 pedestrians on, it's a lot. The farmer's market over there is no problem at all, it's set back, but we looked at the plan for this, and it includes not just the farmer's market area, but pretty much maxing out every sidewalk with vendors, so.
Just like you said about the safety, on a regular weekend with no fare, no vendors, I've noticed a lot of drivers get frustrated because they have to wait, and they have to wait for pedestrians, and then someone turns, and I've seen people gun it, drivers just gun it because they want to get through, and it makes me a little nervous.
Yeah, I don't see as much on the weekends, because the traffic is a little bit lighter, because it's not commuted. The mornings and the rush hours are the worst through there.
You go there on a Monday night and it's kind of quiet sometimes. I went to get ice cream, I'm like, wow. Then you go on a first Friday and like, wow. It all depends on what's going on, but
But that, they had a huge, they used to have a huge Halloween event, and even that got too much. They decided not to do that anymore, because they closed down the streets there.
They have a tough issue of wanting to have events where they welcome people there, and the farmers markets and the First Fridays and all that, but if something gets too big, they don't really have the space to handle beyond a certain
And the roadway's not designed, I mean, they're more of a residential, creating a Main Street city atmosphere, and really, that's a main thoroughfare road.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I think my amendment's still on the table. Do we want to vote on my amendment? I'm happy to have it voted up or down, but it seems to me it might be, we should take a vote. Unless, do people have further comments? Okay. All right, so amended that be it further resolved that this application is contingent upon the event organizers working with the town of Poughkeepsie Police and providing payment for traffic control during the event at such hours as appear to be when it appears to be most necessary.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, so that then, the amendment carries. And let me know, Felicia, if there's anything I need to do to reach out to the organizers too and to express the concerns of the town board and wish them very well. And maybe I will brave Route 44 that day to see what's going on and support the animal shelters, but that makes me person number 5,001, so we'll see.
Although I voted, my one concern is like they're talking about August 22nd. If it's not like, I don't believe the people who there is an entry fee for that, or?
No, there's no fee to get in.
Even though,
I think there is a fee for a passport.
Oh.
Something. I don't really know a lot about it, but.
If that's the case, it's good.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the vendor has to carry on this.
I don't know, I think there is some
shelter.
kind of a passport fee, but I don't know if you have to have a passport to get in. I don't know how that would be monitored, to be honest.
It'd be very hard to have someone pay entry to get into Eastdale. That's gonna be tough, so.
They
Yes.
have
The
to-
vendors will be
Yeah.
paying a fee, I'm sure. So I think that if someone's gonna plan an event of this scale, they need to price the vendors and so forth in order to include the traffic control. Okay, so are we ready to vote? We spent a long time on pickles. All those in favor?
Now I'm hungry.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, the approval passes 7-0. Okay.
Resolution 18?
Yeah, go for
To
it.
accept the 2026 minutes for June 17th, June 24th, and July 8th. So moved.
Second. Any amendments, changes, questions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Resolution carries 7-0. Thank you very much, Felicia, for the minutes.
The town clerk's events, other than the one that I moved over to you guys, I actually have quite a folder of a bunch of them that are coming up. So August 5th, I'll probably take a few minutes to read them off, but I just have to check with building and zoning on a few, and one just came in today for fireworks. So next meeting, there'll be quite a few. 3 of them are at Eastdale, actually, coming up besides this one, so
Okay.
their one day's not as large.
Okay. All right, thank you very much then. I think then we have committees reports. I'm gonna waive my my supervisor's report because starting to understand the IDA proposal is kind of what I've been doing for the last couple of weeks, and I've reported on that already. Other than that, working on the budget, first stages of the budget and capital plan, and overseeing some of the things going on at the new town hall. Finance committee?
Sure. We met just a week or so ago to review that second quarterly report before Minnow gave her presentation. And we will be meeting very soon, probably next week or the week after, with Shannon from our auditors to go over the draft financial statements. And also, we'd like to review the capital plan.
Okay, great. Recreation and parks?
We did meet a week or so ago, and we got some updates on Stanley Still and the improvements. And I must say, just our commendation to the rec team with Nate and his team, because you go to all our parks, you see the engagement during the summer from the little ones to the adults. Safe places for the most part for people to have recreational activities. And last week there were a number of cancellations because of the smoke in the air, but just yesterday we saw one of the benefits, an additional benefit of PDS, because of the rain and the impending snowstorm, they were able to have events at the PDS gymnasium. So commendations to the rec team and the town of Poughkeepsie for what they do for constituents during the summer and other events during the year.
We've made our very first uses of the gym. The summer camp met there one day because of the smoke, and the youth basketball league met there because of torrential rains. So we're beginning to have the first opportunities to use that as a safe space. So, great. Joint water plant.
Sure, our July meeting was postponed because we couldn't make quorum. Too many people were on vacation the same week, including myself. So we're meeting August 3rd at 4:30. We'll be meeting at 3:30 just to go over the intermunicipal agreement, but at 3:30 we meet for the public. And Tom Colgan told me that they've already started meeting with the engineers who've been hired to work on the comprehensive project review.
Great. Okay, I don't have much of a report on the Tri-Muni. We met this month, but there's no news beyond the regular reports. Historic preservation, is there anything?
No, we had our last lecture and it went over extremely well. We had our largest turnout ever of them. And yeah, there's going to be, we've got one house that we're going to be designating that's going to be coming before the town board very shortly.
Nice. Wonderful. Thanks. Plumbing board, anything?
We're having a new plumber come on board the plumbing board. So we replaced the resident that we had lost, so we have a new resident on the plumbing board, and we have another plumber coming on.
So that'll be a town board vote sometime soon?
Yep, hopefully first meeting in August.
Great, thank you. Conservation Advisory Committee.
We meet next Monday, July 27th at 5:30. I think it's going to be on Zoom. Not quite sure, but we've also been meeting and speaking with 2 town residents who are hoping to join the Conservation Advisory Commission once they visit a meeting. But we are still available to put more people on the CAC.
And we still have some openings, so.
Yep.
Great. Okay, wonderful. Climate Smart Task Force.
I could say, yes, passing the resolution on the refrigerant management, it's a big win for Climate Smart. That's something, if I understood correctly, the municipal need to have that program for certain certifications. There's another question is like when we have the farmers market, we have a gasoline powered engine for like generator for cooking and all. Just wonder if the towns, the F1 truck could has the capacity to provide power or something.
I don't think we can
You
let.
have one.
I have one. And actually, I'm helping a local food truck try to convert completely to battery and instead of using gasoline generator. If they have a fryer, you can't do it. It's the power suck is insane. So it's kind of a big ask. If they have something very simple like refrigeration or like even like a stovetop or a hot plate, sometimes you can get away with that kind of stuff, but most of them draw so much power all at once that you have to have something very substantial.
Right.
But I have the plans, I could show them to you.
Right. I don't think we can loan a town truck to somebody who's at the farmer's market, but we could try to do demos of some kind or have the Climate Smart Task Force there as a presence. I know that when, at a prior Arlington Street Fair, that the Climate Smart Task Force arranged to have one of the electric pickup trucks. It didn't belong to the town at that time, but it was an example, and they were popping popcorn under the hood to show people that there's no engine under there, and you can use it for storage and other things. You can, tailgate, front gate.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see from if we can tap into their electricity, or maybe we could sell electricity from there. If it is not like $1 million project, it will be something to explore.
Yes, if the Climate Smart Task Force wants to explore that, it sounds great as a way, new potential source of town revenue, driving the truck around and selling electricity to people who need it. So, sounds good. All right, Hudson 7, anything?
Yes, there was an algae bloom reported in June. So they're having they like people to be aware that if you see an algae bloom in the Hudson River, don't touch it, leave it alone, but report it to Hudson 7 right at the front page of their website. There's a place that you can report that if you see algae blooming on the Hudson River. And the only other thing is, yes, unfortunately, the coal tars have been getting warmer and creating a sheen, that oily sheen you see on top of it. And they're talking about installing a bubbler array that would put little bubbles of air in there to break that up. But the problem is that doesn't solve the problem. It just breaks up the sheen, so it's not as noticeable. So there's been discussions of that going around.
You know, they say the solution to pollution is not dilution.
Yes, because they like to say it is dilution, but it's not. It's still there.
Okay. All right, so I didn't know that we had had one of the harmful altitude blooms this summer yet, so thank you, I
Yes,
appreciate
and
that.
it was up north by Statsburg, and it did not impact our water treatment facility.
Okay,
But it's a bit early for them to be showing up.
yeah. Well, hopefully it's gotten, now if it's cooled down with some rain, that'll help. But basically, don't swim in the river, don't let your pet swim in the river if there's if there's one of these HABs, right? Okay, I think that's it. Any other last items from the board? I would then move to suspend the rules for anyone, we're gonna go into exec session, but for that, I wanna suspend the rules for anyone who might wanna address the board on any items. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0, so the floor is open for anyone who may wanna speak. Yes, Steve, welcome.
Back again, on the subject of the city of Poughkeepsie and the AFR, according to the New York State Comptroller's website, they have filed as of 7/21/26. So they have filed, so again, why can't the town? And as far as Tri-Muni, town of Wappinger's filed, why can't the town? It seems like everybody else saying, you know, there's estimates being, if it's a significant difference, you should be able to have the numbers. If it's a significant difference, then need to do an amendment. But again, it's used by the state can't rate the town. It can affect our bond ratings and a number of things because they're not doing the fiscal analysis at the state because they don't have the numbers.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else who's in the room who wanted to speak? All right, then Doreen, welcome.
Okay, thank you. I also, while the meeting was going on, looked up the AFR on the comptroller's website, and I did see that the city of Poughkeepsie had filed, and it lists the town of Poughkeepsie as being not filed. And as it says on here, when local governments fail to file their AFRs, taxpayers are left in the dark. So I would urge that AFR to be filed as soon as possible. And the other thing, while I appreciate the discussion about the traffic situation, yeah, to me it seemed like there shouldn't have really been that much of a need for discussion because the traffic is horrible in that area anyway. And I know a lot of people talk about avoiding that section of 44 due to the traffic. And, you know, as a taxpayer, I don't want to have to pay for extra overtime for the police for something that's comes as a result of a private event. So I really do think that was a much needed modification, and that they should have to pay for any police expenses. And, you know, I can recall years ago, Senator Saland, after he had retired, sitting right there in the town board meeting room. He was a consultant of some sort for Eastdale, and saying how the Eastdale project was actually going to help the traffic situation there on Route 44. And needless to say, that isn't what happened. So again, I think that was the right move to make to require payment for any police services for safety reasons. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who wanted to speak in the room or online? Okay, seeing none, I move that we return to regular session.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries 7-0. All right, and then the last resolution is, be it resolved that the town board does hereby adjourn to executive session to consider a personnel matter, and for a matter of attorney-client privilege. And be it further resolved that no action appropriating money will be taken during executive session. I don't anticipate coming back and having any actions tonight. This is simply a discussion. So, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? 7-0. I'm not sure I got a second. Did someone say, I moved it, Shantha seconded it, thank you, and we'll go into executive session. Thank you very much, everyone, for being
Thank
here.
you.
Thank you.